Ah.
Alexis isn't here.
What a bummer.
I know. That's my best friend.
Why is she not here?
Because she doesn't like in-person school.
That's crazy. I liked having her here.
Well, she just can't get the motivation to do it. Like, when she's here, it's not that bad, but, like, she just can't get motivated enough
To
actually
come.
Yeah.
That's a bummer. Hello. I know Randall's here. I've seen him.
Nicole, you haven't stopped into my work when I'm working, and I find that offensive.
It's only been like a week since I knew where you worked.
I worked 2 days. You had 2 opportunities so far.
I didn't know. Are you working this weekend?
On Sunday.
On Sunday? What's the name of it again? Choices.
It's in Park Circle around like the Magnet SOA area.
Oh.
The corner like East Montague and Nixon.
Yeah.
It's right behind that.
Oh, okay.
It's an Italian grocery store, and they make like everything there really good.
That sounds like a cool place. You were everything to me.
And I'm not allowed to check out people if they get alcohol.
Really?
I'm not 18.
I would think that you would just like scan their card or something, or make sure that.
You have to like. There's weird laws to be able to sell people alcohol. You have to be 18. Because apparently, when you're under 18, you don't have enough like qualifications to properly ID someone.
What?
And tell whether or not they're over 21.
You have to be 18 to do the math.
No, like you have to be 18 just to like scan the alcohol for them.
That's wild. I don't understand it. I feel like people at Publix have definitely, like people who are under 18 have. In fact, wonder, Mia works at Publix. I'm gonna ask her if it's the same there. You were everything to me, and I was begging you, please don't go. And I heard that Taylor Swift came out with a new version of that. I haven't listened to it, but I'll keep waiting for you, but you never come.
I got this ring. And it's got crushed up opal.
Ooh, yeah, I like opal. Oh, that's so pretty. I bet it like makes a reflection when you're like in the sun.
It's like holographic opal.
That's pretty cool.
It's just me today because Alexis left me. I'm ashamed of her.
Well, I've seen Randall. I
Oh,
assume
yeah,
he's
have
with
seen him.
Nelson. Yeah, what did I just say?
You guys are reading a book about a guy who wants to date his wife's cousin.
Mm-hmm.
What book is this?
Ethan Frome.
What?
Ethan Frome.
Ethan Frome.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. I've
Yeah.
never read it.
It's morally incorrect.
We've read a lot about infidelity this year.
I know.
What about, I think LeBron, didn't LeBron say it was pretty, all right? Is that his argument?
Yeah.
His wife's cousin. I mean, yeah, like, that's fine.
Well,
No, he has a wife.
it's more the wife
Well,
part.
all right, yeah, that part. But, like, if you take that away, then LeBron's correct. Like, you could,
Well,
that
think
person-
about what you just said. LeBron is correct, but his well,
if it's your
everybody
own
was
cousin, it's like,
everybody was kind
a
of
little different.
arguing that like it's still weird because even though you're not blood related, you're family. And I kind of made the analogy like I'm not blood related to my brother-in-law, but if something happened to my sister, it'd be gross if we were ever together. Like I can't imagine that because that person is my family.
Well, I'll tell you
And he
what-
would,
I'll tell
and
you
he
a little
defended
story.
that too. He was like, I don't see what the problem would be.
I'll give you a little glimpse into my life as a teenager. I used to work at a bowling alley. I think you know that well.
Mm-hmm.
So at the bowling alley, this is one of the craziest scenarios I've ever been involved in. Not that I was really involved in it, so my assistant manager was once married to a man named Joey Jones, right?
Uh-huh.
And when they were married, they had a child named Deanna Jones. Well, my sister manager, Jen Jones, so Jen and Joey got divorced. Several years later, Jen got married to Chip Jones, Joey's brother.
It's weird.
They had a baby. So now their first daughter, Deanna, has an uncle who's also her stepfather.
So she's got a half sibling that's also her cousin.
Yes.
It's messed up.
Welcome to the bowling alley world.
That's weird. Where is everybody? There's nobody on this. Well, James and Cece are here. And that's it. We're gonna wait a minute and see if we can get a few other people.
Okay, I have a question.
Okay.
It's for the whole class because it needs a diverse answer, and I have a specific answer for it, but it just needs to be thought about because I'm confused. Disney has made a movie. It's a short. It's called Out, and it's about a kid coming out to his parents.
Mm-hmm.
There are people upset because they don't want their child watching that sort of thing, or because their child is impressionable. Now, here are my thoughts on it.
Child like
Okay.
they want to like, it doesn't matter.
Hold on, hear me out. I believe they should make the movie at least PG or PG-13 because you have to watch it with the parent. You can't just let your kid watch it by themselves because they're gonna have questions about what's going on the screen. All kids have questions what's going on the screen. I'll sit there and watch a movie with my mom and I'll still have questions on the screen because I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think? Because I think they should just make it PG-13 and let it go on their way. I still think it's a beautiful representation of what's going to happen because they're growing up in a generation where this is just acceptable now. It's going to be acceptable because we all have to live our lives as happily as we can be. What do you guys think?
I think even a PG rating is fine. If it's like
It doesn't need
a short and like it's animated, but also like I think that it's a little silly for people to feel that way because regardless of how anybody feels, Disney has been an open supporter of LGBTQ forever and ever. Yeah. When I was young, in fact,
the very beginning.
well, maybe not in the like in the 50s,
Yeah.
but as long as I've been alive, and I think most of you guys know that I grew up like really religious, and when I was young, there was a few years there where my parents wouldn't support Disney in any way because they were, super conservative religious, and that was the issue. So it's not a new thing. I'm so curious about where everybody is. Like, we can't do this discussion with so few people here.
They might show up Monday.
They might show up Monday. Don't come to school Monday, by the way.
I'm coming in
because no one is going to be here.
Maybe I want to come here when nobody's here.
You won't be able to get in, but
I will. I have my ways.
All right, we've got Alyssa here. We don't have Alexis. We have James virtually. We don't have Genesis. We don't have LeBron. I knew he wouldn't be here. We have Cece virtually. We have no Cade. We have no Zane. We have Randall in person. All right. I'm going to give everybody just a couple minutes because sometimes people will get a notification that they've been marked absent and they freak out and come back.
I just wish that I could phase through things because there's like a possible way, like if humans like line all their cells up in a certain way, we could like slightly phase through objects.
Okay. What do you mean?
Like we could like, you know how we can press down on things?
Uh-huh.
It would be like that, but you'd go like
Through it?
a little bit.
Hmm.
If you line all the cells up in like one of your fingers, so just like.
I have become allergic to my ring, and I don't know why. I've like worn it for months, and now I have like a little breakout on my finger next to it. Put butter on the ring?
That's what my mom used to do, take her ring off.
Oh, well, I mean, I don't have issues getting it off. It's just that I'm like breaking out. I guess I need to not wear it. I know it's a cheap piece of garbage, but still. My finger's really ugly now. You know, I used to have an opal ring that my cousin gave me for my 16th birthday, and I loved it so much. But then my sister and I one time were attending a Lord of the Rings movie marathon, and we had like imitation swords, or like Frodo's sword, and we got a little sword fight, and she hit me on the hand and it knocked the stone out, and then I didn't know how to fix it. Very sad. At least I found it. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Oh,
It's sterling silver, and it was not that bad.
it wasn't expensive.
It
Well,
was like under $50.
that's pretty good. I know I didn't pay very much for this, but still. I guess I'd get another ring. A lot of people think this is a Wonder Woman thing anyway, and it's definitely not. I don't care about Wonder Woman at all.
If Wonder Woman wasn't straight, she'd be a little more interesting. I'm just saying.
She's very beautiful. I don't know if we're going to get anyone else. I really don't want to do Socratic Circle without more people here. It's not fun.
Do you want me to text Alexis? It's English.
No, it's only Cece and James.
Still?
Yeah,
Could I text Alexis?
sure.
I'll text Genesis.
Okay.
LeBron's probably on his way to Alabama.
I did know that he was going to be gone, and that's fine.
Wait, who's on to Alabama?
LeBron.
Oh, she's going to Alabama.
That is so funny. LeBron must have a really hot cousin. That's so funny. Romeo, save me. I've been.
Can you listen to Taylor Swift? The old Taylor Swift, not new Taylor Swift.
Not new Taylor Swift. I genuinely haven't listened to any of Taylor Swift's new stuff.
I've heard that her
New Taylor Swift is garbage.
Really? I mean, like everybody's losing their minds over her last two albums.
like partially. I want to listen to that.
Partially. Yeah, like her old stuff was a little country.
One song in the Hannah Montana movie.
Hmm.
Genesis, you need to get into class. What are you doing? It is 11:05.
Oops.
You are late.
They don't have part one. This is bullcrap.
Genesis.
Oh, here comes Alexis. Okay. And here comes Genesis. Yay! Okay,
Thank you.
we can have class. All right, we'll mark Alexis
We were gonna
present.
listen to old Taylor Swift.
We were thinking about it. Okay, so now we don't have. We knew we wouldn't have LeBron. We don't have Cade or Zane,
I'm gonna
but
go with Alexis.
it's gonna be all right. Okay. Alexis,
What?
why are you
Why
not
aren't you
here?
here today? Yeah,
Why are you not here?
because I was tired.
That's not a good enough excuse.
You want to know when my mom picked me up from Kat's house last
12:30.
night?
Kat was mad. 12:30.
Yeah, a.m.
I've been asleep for 4 hours. But I really have.
And then I went to sleep at 2 a.m. because I couldn't fall asleep.
You should have just stayed awake and then come to school.
See, I would have, however, I did not want to.
Oh, Kate entered the room. Can I let him in?
Yes, you can let him in.
Okay.
Next Thursday.
Next Thursday, you better be here.
Why is that?
Thursdays are just my days.
To school?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's still the same people that were here before. You think? There shouldn't be. I don't have more students.
Thursdays, there's less people than Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Let me plug in here. So here's a funny little story. Speaking of me growing up religious, when I was in college, I did like I was part of like a campus ministry thing. And my friend and I, my friend slash roommate and I would do like the praise and worship stuff. But one time we played Taylor Swift's Love Story and just changed the word, one of the baby to Jesus. Like, it's a love story. Jesus, just say yes. We're like, it totally works. It's totally fine. Which is maybe one reason I don't do stuff like that anymore. I don't take it seriously enough.
When y'all say I love you like the love song
We did that, and one time we did Wagon Wheel, and we're like, rock me, Jesus, like a wagon wheel.
Oh, what?
Doesn't have to make sense.
You could have made that better.
All right, we are going to do some discussion.
My mom's very Christian. You see how I turned out.
Yeah, my dad's a minister. He's not super proud of me.
I'm sure if he met me, he'd be like, whoa, what is that?
You never know.
I show up, I look like I'm crazy. I have blue hair, I have piercings. People don't really know if I'm a girl or a guy. They're just like, what?
Oh my gosh. When I got my first tattoo, which by the way, I was 26, full grown adult. I told my dad, I sat my dad down and I was like, I'm gonna get a tattoo. I know you don't like that, but it's very small. No, not at all. It's not harmful, it's not ugly or anything, it's very small. And he was like, I can't control what you do, but just make me a promise. Before you decide for sure to do it, just take some time and read what the Bible has to say about tattoos. And then see how you feel. And I did. And I was like, I don't think it says anything about tattoos, actually.
Did you get that tattoo just to prove a point?
No. I thought about getting it for a long time.
It's on the 26th one.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I was like coming up on my 26th birthday. So I decided to do it then.
I want to get 2 stars on my hips.
That'd be nice.
Like one big star and one small one.
Okay. I like that.
I'm gonna be that one person, and when I have my kids, I'm gonna put their names on my back. That's all I'm gonna do. Well, on my arms. And I already have the design out for them because I already know what their names are gonna be because I'm also that person. So it's very sweet.
Fair. The weirdest one I think I ever, well, probably not the weirdest one I ever saw, but I sat next to this girl in one class in college. She had like a big portrait of a baby on her arm. And I was like, oh, that's nice. Even though I didn't really think it was. I was like, that's nice. Is that your baby? And she was like, no, that's me when I was a baby. I was like, that's a weird thing to do. I can't imagine like getting my own baby picture.
That's like people who get their own name tattooed on their arm.
Yeah.
You forget it.
I know. Okay,
My
so we're
mom
going to do
has
some
that.
discussion.
She has the female sign on her leg. And I asked her one time, I was
Just
like,
in
why
case
do
you
you
forget.
have that? Yeah, she was like, just in case I forget. And I was like, okay.
Okay. I've got 10 questions that I have posted on Canvas. And we're going to go through them all. We don't necessarily have to go through them in order. But I definitely want to hear from everybody at least once. You can do it in the chat if you want, or you can talk out loud. Out loud is better, but rather than having like a facilitator, I'm going to kind of start each question and then probably finish each question and before we move on to the next one. So I'm going to share my screen so we can see these questions. I'm going to try to. Romeo, save me. I've been feeling so alone. Okay, first off,
We have to listen to it at the end of class.
we'll listen to it at the end of class. Why are Maddie and Ethan drawn to each other?
Because Ethan likes that, like his life has been gray all of his life, and Maddie is just like this exciting young girl full of energy,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like drawn to that. And Maddie just sees like Ethan and Zena, and she sees them as like people who can take care of her. And I think that's a good reason.
Those are good answers. Anyone else?
That's literally exactly why. Because It's an opposites, plays into the role of the opposites attract thing.
Mhm.
And he likes her because she's, like what Alyssa said, exciting, and he's kind of boring. So
True, he is. Anyone else? Any ideas?
Yeah, his other girlfriend.
Miss McClellan, where's the questions at?
They're on Canvas, and I'm also sharing my screen and have them in front of me.
Okay.
Say it again, Randall. What did you say?
I'm a change.
Okay.
It sounded good.
I was like, cause his old girlfriend was kind of rusty, and it wasn't working out. So
Oh, with his wife.
yeah,
Yeah. Anyone else?
she was paying for it. She can't have like, she can't really do nothing exciting. So
Yeah.
it just got boring.
It also seems like she doesn't really want to do anything exciting. Like she's just kind of content to like sit at home and groan about how she doesn't feel well.
Sounds like a straight white man.
She does a little bit. Yeah, I have these memes on my door, and I have these memes on my door. Mr. Nykert came by earlier, and he just stood outside for a minute. He was like, "Just need a little reading material today." And I was like, "Oh yeah, like take your time, read them all." And then he was like, "There's definitely a surplus of cis white men on your board here." And I was like, "It's not me. It's Spark Notes. I didn't pick them. I just found some good ones." Okay, and before we move on, I was also going to say that Maddie, one of the things that she likes about Ethan, obviously, is that he has a lot of knowledge that she doesn't have, and that kind of like attracts both of them because she's attracted to his knowledge, and she's attracted to the way that, or he's attracted to the way that she's like eager to hear from him and learn from him and let him teach her stuff. So
Sorry, my Wi-Fi went out again.
you what?
My Wi-Fi just went out again. It put me
Oh,
back.
bummer. Mine has been going out a couple of times too. So if I get kicked off, I will be back. Okay, so there's in chapter 1, I think there's the bit about them passing through the graveyard. What does that graveyard kind of represent to Ethan?
Isn't that where he wanted to be with Maggie?
yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
like he wants to live his eternal life there with her and be happy because he's obviously not happy there, and the graveyard just somehow gets him or something like that.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my god, you get me, type of thing. But
No, he's 20,
27.
28. Yeah, and then his wife is only 35. That's what we read yesterday, that like she seems so elderly and frail. She's only 35. Like he's still a young guy, so I guess he's kind of hoping to have some kind of life. This is what's weird to me though. Everything y'all have said is correct. Like he has this vision of like being buried beside Maddie, and he's like, "Oh, we could be happy then." It's so weird that the first place his mind goes is like, we could be together in death, rather than maybe we should leave Starkfield and like have a good life together. I'm not saying like cheat on your wife, but like if you're gonna,
Like, at least don't think about, like, oh, I can't wait to be dead with her. Right
yeah, what a weird thing.
I think because before they break up, I guess he wants to be dead before.
Maybe he like doesn't want to go through. I can see him being like pretty non-confrontational, so maybe he's thinking like, I don't want to disrupt my life and my wife's wife. I don't want her to be upset, and so like maybe that's the only way we could be together.
And like I was only married by each other.
Yeah, like probably not. It's just like it's such a weird way to think about things. We will read, I think, in the next chapter more about like why he married Xena in the first place. And so maybe that'll help kind of like put some perspective, because right now it does sort of seem like, well, why are you even upset? Or like, why are you worried about upsetting her? You guys don't seem to get along. If you could go be happy with somebody else, maybe you should. But not that I advocate cheating on your spouse, but like if you feel like you should cheat on your spouse, maybe you should leave. Like I don't think that's unreasonable. Okay. Who do you guys sympathize with the most? Ethan, Maddie, or Xena, and what makes these characters sympathetic or not? Or none?
I sympathize with Maddie, and it's because, like we said yesterday, she wasn't even trying to give him the idea that she was into him. She was just really excited because he had a lot of knowledge and she doesn't know much. And it made her feel really cool because now she's actually learning stuff and not sitting there really dumb. And now he thinks that she likes him because she's so excited about learning, and probably doesn't even mean to hurt Xena. I mean, we don't know because we haven't gotten that far in the book. But it doesn't seem like she was just ready. She just had a plan to go, I'm going to steal her husband. Like, that's not, right. I don't think that's what her intentions were.
No, I don't think so either. Because she even, she says that she doesn't want to leave. She doesn't want to change the situation she's in. So I don't think she would do anything overtly to hurt Xena, because she wants to be able to kind of maintain this status that they currently have. Anybody find someone other than Maddie to be most sympathetic?
I would feel more sympathetic towards Xena if she wasn't so petty.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed. She's pretty petty, hiding the key and stuff. Yeah, I want to be more sympathetic towards her, and maybe we will be after we read about how they got together and stuff. I don't actually remember a whole lot about that, so I can't really.
I think you can still extend your arm towards her for that sympathy though, because you do have to realize marriage back then was till death do us part, and after forever, I don't care if you hate me, we're still in this together,
Mm-hmm.
And so she's thinking everything's fine with her marriage, and even if she is a little petty, can you blame her? Her man's misogynistic and trash.
He's just
trying to have sex with her cousin, obviously you are gonna, over the years of marriage that it developed, for him to get to this point to be yeah, screw my wife, let's go for her cousin. For the years of marriage, for it to get to him to this point, obviously she's going to become more bitter as well, because he kind of looks at her as an annoyance.
Yeah, he totally does.
And he's
remember that moment where he's is hoping that she is dead?
Yeah, are you so it's one of those things where it's yeah, I get how she can be a mean old wench, because she's spent all of her life courting this man, because let's be honest, she probably married him when she was 15 or 13 or something like this. She spent all of her life being courted by this man, expecting the love of her life, and she got stuck with this. I would be very disappointed as well.
For sure.
And I would be a little upset as well, because of the fact that he's oh, I don't like when she goes and fixes her health because I have to spend money. Oh, I'm so sorry, Mr. Quincy Jones. Pull your checkbook out, write me a check. I'm sorry, you said you'd support me forever and ever. You also said you'd love me, and you also said you would stay loyal.
And then did none of those things.
Literally. So I think he deserves a check.
I think you could also sympathize with Ethan. Not a whole lot.
That's what I was going to ask. Alyssa was over here saying, I don't sympathize with him at all. And I wanted to see if anybody did at all.
So I can answer from, I'm not saying that all.
Do we sympathize with LeBron? No.
No. But listen, hear me out. I'm going to answer this from not saying you guys are like this, but a typical man response and say, well, you could sympathize with him because his wife isn't giving him the attention and he didn't know she was going to be sick like this. And the fact that she's sick is kind of making it really terrible for him because he can't be with her because she don't look pretty no more and everything. And he probably didn't even want to marry her because she was older than he was too. And, you know, because he's going after a young girl. So I mean, you could sympathize. Obviously, that's a disgusting opinion, and I really hate that opinion. But that could be a reason you could sympathize with Ethan too, because he
Yeah.
didn't expect that his marriage would just be gone like this to the point where he don't even want to be with the woman anymore. And we don't know because he could have very well wanted to be with her in the beginning, like.
Yeah.
Straight up, she sounds like she was supposed to be really pretty until she got sick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
We'll find out next week, like
exactly.
how they got
So
together, how long they've been together, if they were happy.
we don't know what she was supposed to look like, and we don't know because he said she was smart too. So he could have married her because she was smart just like him, and just like Maddie, she was teaching him things that he didn't know about, and that's what made him so excited. Like we won't know until we read further. So
Yeah. Y'all are all making really good points. The extent to which I sympathize with him is that he really feels stuck. And I feel sorry for him because, you know, like he went to school for a little bit and he had to drop out to take care of his parents. And it sounds like as soon as his parents died, both of whom had like horrible, difficult sicknesses, right after that, he married Xena and then she got sick. And he hasn't ever really had very much opportunity to do anything with his life. And I get that when you feel stuck and you feel like things have been taken away from you, that's horrible. And that's definitely something to sympathize with. But the way that he reacts to that is not worth sympathy, in my opinion. Like, I don't even really blame him for having feelings for Maddie because you can't help how you feel about people. But like getting jealous over her, like she didn't even do anything with that other guy, Dennis Edie. He's taking action. Yeah, he's like, oh, well, Xena's gonna go out of town. We'll have some time alone, wink, wink. And he's like kind of trying to hurt his wife's feelings, like when he doesn't want to go to bed with her at the end of chapter 2. Like he's being pretty like blatant about his feelings, and I cannot sympathize with that. I think there are better ways to go about it. The way he treats Xena is not good. The way she treats him is not great either, but yeah, there's also like she can only do so much. She's very sickly. Um, they seem to be just like this elderly bickering couple who just feels really stuck. Okay, let's move on to number 4. We have like 20 minutes left, so we should be able to get through all these. What does Ethan's behavior outside the dance indicate about his behavior? Stalker. A little bit, yeah, he's a little bit of a stalker.
I think the politically correct term is infatuated with her. But yeah, he's weird. Like, I don't know how more simple we can get. He's weird, and it's becoming to the point where it's like, well, broski, what's are you good? Like, are you actually good, or are you like just good? Like, that's what it's becoming. And you don't I don't even know how to explain it because it's just why concerning. Like, why are you standing outside the dance hall peeking through a crack in the door? Like, that's a little weird. And then you just gonna stand behind the door watching her leave and have a conversation with this man that you just don't like. Like, a rational person would be like, if he saw her coming out the door with him, would like a rational crazy person would come out from behind the door and be like, hey, I'm here, and everything would just go about its way. But you stood there and watched her have a whole conversation and turn Dennis Edie down, and then got excited because she turned him down, and then got sad when she was like, well, I didn't really turn him down because of you. I just turned him down because I'm not trying to go home with him. Like that's
Right.
you can't just that's weird. You're weird. That's
And
weird.
like, and she finds out, like he was watching, and she's like not that upset about it.
No, she's not. She's just like, oh, I didn't know you were there. Oh, well, why didn't you say something? And
But we also got to take in the fact that she's like kind of dumb too, you know.
she is kind of dumb. She's a little bit simple. She's definitely not as sharp as Xena is. I think also like we see a little bit of, I'm not gonna say like violent tendencies, that's too far, but like I feel like he has a little bit of a dark side, the way that he like thinks about Dennis Eady and wants to like get him out of the picture, not to mention the whole thing about him kind of hoping his wife is dead.
Oh yeah,
It's a little bit of a dark side.
Oh, that's it. I thought that was a totally different couple. That Dennis is married. Hold on, wait, I'm confused. Hold on. Wait.
No. Dennis isn't married.
Ethan. Okay, I was like, wait a second. Okay, because they mentioned like a couple being like dead, and when they were walking through and everything, he was like,
Yes.
he's like, well, I hope they aren't. And he was like, yeah, me neither. Like that's what I thought.
That might be Dennis. I can't remember off the top of my head. But I know that the girl is Ruth Varnum, and they're talking about how like they're kind of a couple. So maybe Dennis is with somebody but flirting with someone else. I really can't remember, but they talked about how they went coasting, and they're like, oh, it's dangerous to go coasting because there's this big elm tree at the bottom and they could get killed. And they're just like, hope not. And then Ethan was like, you know, I'm really good at coasting, and like it's trying to flirt with her about it. That is some weak game. I know. I feel like that's nowadays if someone was just like, you know, I'm a really good driver. I'd be like, cool. Like most of us are decent drivers.
You want to see me make a left turn?
Really gets you going, doesn't it? He's my cousin and he's good at sledding. Oh my god. I love it. Yeah, so I think he's got a little bit of a dark side, and he doesn't really react very much to that whole thing about like, oh, they could get killed. He's like, hope not, and then keeps talking. So this is just kind of a prediction question, but how do you guys think events are going to play out between Maddie and Ethan while Xena's out of town?
Oh, go ahead, Alyssa, sorry.
You know, like in Diary of a Wimpy Kid when they throw that house party, like
I don't, but
I know what you're talking about, and then they come back and
but like every movie ever does something
like Roderick and Greg have that great relationship, and then they find the pictures on the TV, and then all of a sudden everything's out the window. Yeah, okay.
I feel like that's kind of what's gonna happen. Something's definitely gonna happen between them.
Mhm.
It's probably not gonna be that big of a deal, but Xena's definitely gonna find out about it.
Yeah.
I feel like she probably might already know, but she just didn't even have.
Is there anything in particular that makes you think she does already know?
I mean,
Because
she's
like they was like spending so many quality time together.
Mhm.
He just started acting petty.
Yeah.
And not want to see the brother.
Yeah.
Something is up, not in particular with Maddie, but she was.
Yeah, agreed.
want to go. He didn't want to take Xena out of town.
Right. He didn't want to take her out of town, which by the way, that's gonna be some conflict in the next couple of chapters too, is he really didn't think it through. He gave some excuse to Xena about why he didn't want to go, about like
The money he was gonna go get from the guy or something.
right, he was gonna go get money, and in the narration it even says like that wasn't true. So
and they even say like, oh, he regretted that decision once he said it too.
Mhm.
I feel like when she goes out of town, I think something's gonna happen between them, but I don't think it's what we're all thinking. I feel like they're gonna have a sit down conversation about what's going on between them, and they're probably gonna sneak a kiss because, you know, as one does. But I think maybe because she's going out of town, I think Maddie's gonna take the opportunity and try and go see Dennis Edie or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Because she, the way he was describing her face in that chapter was like she was having a great time with him, and like they were making great eye contact. So she's probably gonna go see him and see what's up about that. But I don't know. But you know what I think is gonna happen though? I feel like Xena, and it's probably never gonna happen, but this is just me being a fire starter in my head. I feel like Xena is gonna try and get with the doctor because the doctor
I'd support it.
I would too. Like that seems kind of logical, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like something's gonna happen between the doctor and her.
Maybe so.
I hope so, because that would be great.
Gina deserves someone better.
She does, and a doctor sounds really great right this second.
And like maybe she doesn't actually suck as much as it sounds like she does. Like yes, she's sickly, but maybe she's not actually as like complaining and querulous as it sounds like. Maybe that's just the way that Ethan is perceiving her. Or maybe that's not how she naturally is, but she's just been like in this bad marriage for so long that it kind of makes her behave badly. Oh, that's a good point. She might be doing it to get Ethan's attention. I like that. It could be a test. Sometimes you treat somebody bad to see like if they will stick around.
Or maybe she's going out of town and like Ethan not giving her the ride was like a test.
Okay. Ethan not giving her the ride was a test. I can see that too.
Maybe she was also like ready to argue with him when she was talking about going out of town too. Like it said that clearly in the passage, like she was ready for it. She like had everything locked and loaded.
And I hate couples like that who are just like everything you say, somebody like the spouse is ready to like come back with something. I hate it's so stressful to see.
I wonder like if she was like that beforehand, just not as aggressive, because she had to have started doing that. They had to have had an argument like when she started getting sick like that, because there's just no way she was just like ready to just sit there and argue. Like he doesn't seem like he's an arguing type of person. So
pretty non-confrontational.
Yeah.
Randall? Yeah, that's fair. Like why would he's not really invested in his marriage anymore? Why sit there and argue and fight about it when it's not gonna like change the way you feel? I'm gonna skip ahead actually because we are starting to run out of time, but also because we were talking just a minute ago about him like giving this fake story about how he's going to pick up some money, and he regretted saying that. So if you look at number 9, how can you see the role of money emerging as an important thing in the lives of
oh my god, she's gonna actually like need the money for the thing and he's not gonna have it.
I mean, right, she's sick, she needs money, she like the doctor, and that's the first thing that he worries about when she says that she's going to see the doctor. He's like, ugh, I really don't want that bill. But
yeah, she's gonna come back and she's gonna be like, I need like $50, which is a lot of money. I need $50 for this, and he's gonna be like,
yeah, you know what, she's like, where's that money that you got, which is the reason you stayed behind? And he's gonna have to be like,
oh, yeah.
or maybe Maddie was gonna probably like be like, oh, I'll go into town and get the money, and she like disappears. Like what if like the money actually is a thing, even though it's a lie? Like what if the money is actually a thing and she's like, I'm here to pick it up for blah blah blah, and then she like takes the money and eats out of there. Like
I would support that so much. I would support that.
That sounds like a great idea. But we also got to take into account because Maddie's just not very smart either. But we don't know what could happen. We still don't know. But like 90%, I'm like 90% sure that doesn't happen. But you know.
Yeah. Y'all might also remember, like we just kind of skimmed over it at the beginning of chapter 1. They were talking about how like I don't remember the technicalities because I don't know anything about farming, but they were like his ranch is like an L shape and they had to take off the L part because they couldn't afford to like keep up with whatever happens in the L part. I don't really know. But like money made them lose part of their house essentially. Like money issues made them close down part of their house, part of their farming business. Um, this town is also like really poor just generally. There's not anybody who's like a millionaire in Starkfield. So like all these things, plus on top of that, he's got all these medical bills, all these medications that he has to pay for. And knowing that he also like took care of both of his parents, he's never been well off. Like he's always had more bills than he can afford. And that's definitely I think one of the things that still makes him feel really stuck. He and Maddie might try to elope. They might. I mean, at this point, I feel like that sounds like a likely plan. If they, if they sit down and have a talk about it and she feels the same way. I try to act like I've never read this book before. Like, I don't know what might happen. Okay, let's go to number 10. How do you see the naturalist theme of our lives being determined by things outside of our control, like environment or hereditary or chance? That's supposed to say chance, not change. How do you see that so far in the novel?
So I think, well, okay, so they go over it like near the end in the last chapter about why Maddie is really there and like what happened to her and why she's doing what she's doing for Xena. And it was like because her parents died or something and she was like left out of money. Like she had money at one point in time, but then her parents died and everything went to the funeral costs and everything. And then she just like had to dip out of there and stuff. And well, that's kind of out of our control.
Yeah.
We can't do much about it. And bless you. And then so it was like she wouldn't be able to do much with that. And then Ethan and his for Xena, Ethan and his wife, he can't really control her being sick. And I would even say with her being sick, she really can't control her feelings and emotions and the outbursts and everything. As a person who is mentally sick, I can definitely say some outbursts and some things in the tone of how I say things can just be out of my control. Like I can't help doing certain things, like just being loud overall. I can't help that. That's a genetic thing and that's just a mental thing. So I think with her having kind of a snarky attitude, it probably came from her father because her parents were like lawyers and stuff too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that definitely probably played in a role of how she handles herself too. And plus she was smart, so that's another thing that's out of the control. And just Ethan can control himself.
This kind of plays into, or like there's some similarity between this and question number 6 too, talking about like the way that your environment can control you or like can determine things about your life. And number 6 asks, how does the setting of the book affect the plot or characters? And we kind of know that Starkfield is very intentionally named because we know what Stark means. It was a vocabulary word. And it's basically like this whole town is so stark, like there's nothing there. It's all just like bare trees in the winter and white snow and like just nothing around. So how does that kind of contribute or like affect these characters?
Well, with it being boring, I think everybody needs a little bit of spice in their life. So this is as spicy as it gets.
This is as spicy as it gets. Yeah. I mean, that's honestly true. The whole reason that that Maddie's at that dance in the first place is like Matt or what's her name? Xena and Ethan are like, oh, she's young. She deserves to have as much fun as this town can afford her. She doesn't have to stay home every night. And so they let her go to this dance. so that she can have like what little entertainment this place affords. What? And saw that? It would be funny and dramatic. I feel like we'd all be like, oh. Okay, how much time do we have? Very little. In what ways is Xena manipulative?
Oh my God, them snarky little comments she be making. I'm sorry, I would make the same snarky comments. However, commas, I wouldn't just do it like all of a sudden like that. I think I would just be like sitting at the table in the morning and then just happen to bring up something. This is a little interesting. That like that's what you're supposed to do. What she did was classless and unoriginal. That was I'm embarrassed for her for saying something like that. What? That's not how you do it.
I forgot what excuse did she make for getting rid of the key that she usually leaves out for them?
She wasn't feeling well.
Oh,
she
okay.
said she was feeling mean.
That's right. She was feeling mean, which meant like sick, but I mean, seems like she was feeling mean. Mm-hmm. Okay.
She probably did that on purpose, though. She probably wanted to catch them.
Oh, I'm sure she did that on purpose. Even if it was like, just like, I just want to be a jerk to them, so I'm gonna make them stand out in the cold, or like try to catch them at something. Maybe like if she has to open the door for them, maybe she'll see them making out on the doorstep or something. I don't know.
Of course she did. Like if you gonna make a comment about him shaving his face, of course she gonna forget to put the key out there. What?
Yep.
Didn't he say like there was a light shining in the house too? Or like where all the so
like he knew she was
Miss Ma'am knew what she was doing. I'm not even gonna like try and put the fact that she was sick in there. She knew what she was doing.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, well, the bell's about to ring. The only one we didn't get to was how are Maddie and Xena contrasted physically or in other ways, and I think that's so blatant. Like it couldn't be more different from each other. One is nice and pretty and young and sweet, and the other one is cranky and old and mean and ugly. So kind of contrasted in every imaginable way, which is why he's attracted to Maddie. She's everything that his wife is not.
The cousin part.
The cousin. Don't forget the cousin part. All right. Don't forget, we don't have school on Monday. It's President's Day, and we will not be meeting. So I will see y'all on Tuesday.